Yo. So this is going to be a quick one. It's been a while. Wanted to kind of check in about my thoughts. I've finally started to use AI a lot more in terms of how I do my work. I've gone or evolved from being someone that simply will consult ChatGPT or something for simple questions, and in some cases to brainstorm names or something like that for a new project because I always have a new project. A few months ago, though, Claude Cowork came into play, and once I paid more attention by reading up on Claude Cowork and basically getting a sense of its ability to connect multiple applications, what that told me was that now AI could go from, kind of a simple task, non-complex task completer to something that's a bit more complex, right? Because Claude Cowork, if you're not familiar, enables you to connect Claude to a different application, and Claude can do work, utilizing files from your computer, and engaging with multiple different applications over the web, such as Gmail or, like your Monday.com project management account, all kinds of crazy cool things. And the point is when this kind of computing power can complete complex tasks that are more than one individual task in the overall work, well, now you're approaching something that is a helpful assistant, right? And in addition, I think Claude and Anthropic have done great things. There are certain additional tools such as Lovable that seem to be powered by Claude. I haven't looked into it, but if you navigate Lovable, you can tell. In Claude Design, there's just been some great things, including in the context of helping me finally get this course completed. In the original course, I had a lot of time and spent a lot of time on creating slideshows for certain topics, right? But in this case, I had Claude Design do them. This is my point. As I've spent the last few months utilizing different tools, and at this point, for the first time in my life, obviously, be in a position that I use Claude or other tools more than 1 hour every day to get work done. I've realized that the difference between the two main differences that determine whether in a business context you're using AI tools and power in a productive way. One of the ways is by having Claude or whatever do the grunt work, but also inserting your human touch. You need to humanize whatever the final product is going to be, right? So let's say you go to Lovable and you have it create a website. It will create something that look decent design wise, but the copy and the font isn't quite there. It will, use certain analogy to explain a point in terms of when it's creating something like, an essay or something. But AI still has a way of articulation and writing that it's too consistent, it's too perfect, and it lacks soul. And so what you want to do is you get it to do the grunt work, but you need to be the editor, right? AI is the rough draft. Humans are the editor. That's what I'm going to say. And so that applies not just to written output. That applies to the actual design, right? So again, having Lovable create a website, it the first time I had it do it, it created something that had about 5 times too many words. I had to prompt it to work its way down into something that was about, especially in the hero section, the top section, the header, um, about a third the words. And I would say, listen, this is too wordy. Bring it down to a third the words, and then you kind of tweak it down to something that makes sense. And in my final edit, I edited certain sentences and things myself, right? Instead of prompting it, now it's down to actual human intervention and output. And so it went from something that had the design scaffolding that I was happy with, but it wasn't something that would sell anyone on anything. And so my human element is something that took it from something that looked decent to something that can actually convert and sell and gain client, right? Now, what a lot of people do is they are 0 100 thinkers, and that's where you can fall short. You have a situation where it's like, oh, I use AI now, I can have AI do the work. And then they'll just turn on some, AI process or agent in the background that does the work completely without human intervention. And that's a mistake. There's others that are, sick of AI's flop and they refuse, and, also environmental concerns and all those things, which are valid. And they refuse to use AI in any context other than, other than like they refuse to use it at all. And so it's 0 100 human only output or AI only output. Now in certain cases I do think it makes sense to have only your output. Like a comment on social media, just write it, right? But when it comes to something that is like building a website or creating a slideshow, you shouldn't be spending the unnecessary time creating the scaffolding and basically wireframing the design and the content of that piece of work. You wanted to create something, a rough draft again, that you can work from and be the editor for. Now, the second piece, and this has turned into a longer video, but I think this is important. The second piece is that you need to, as in all things, recognize why you are creating something. I think a lot of people, when they first get into utilizing AI and seeing the magic of outputting something from a simple prompt, I mean, it's absolutely incredible. It's one thing to have it, answer a question or tell you what restaurants are nearby, which is you could just do that on Google, and often Google's still better. But when I recently had it evaluate some random business ideas. One of them was tinned fish, like fish in a tin can, but a premium version in Mexico where I currently live. And, it gave me this incredible things. And frankly, it's like having Deloitte consulting in my pocket or on my computer. And that type of stuff is absolutely incredible. And even in some of the assumptions there, I had to say, hey, actually, I believe your calculation is wrong. For instance, it assumed that the Mexican peso was 20 to 1 versus the dollar. And right now it's not. It's like 17.5 to 1. So it's like, listen, look up today's, kind of, look up the ratio today and then recalculate everything based off of that. So you still have to, kind of edit. But the point is that there's only so many of us that are using AI not just to create some random app or work on some novel idea, but as a way of producing something that you can be pretty certain that people are going to use, right? So I now recommend, and I am about to release my new course, which is part of the reason for this video. I now recommend that, in the past in 2020, and in my own case in 2015, when I wanted to launch something, I'd have to build the website myself or pay someone. and I'd have to do marketing completely myself. There were certain tools out there that were not AI focused, LLM focused, like using active campaign or something for email sending. But now you can use AI to do again a lot of the grunt work when it comes to outreach. So you can use AI for grunt work in outreach. When you connect with someone and they respond, now the human element comes into play. Um, when it comes to the kind of third piece, which is in the case of a call center fulfillment, instead of having humans only, which I sometimes recommend anyway, or AI only, which I never recommend, it's AI handling the very simple, clear inquiries, and you still need to optimize that with human intervention, as well as humans handling complex inquiries. So, in all steps, from the creation of your company and your brand, from your outreach in terms of going after clients, and in terms of fulfillment, in terms of serving clients, there should be a balance in which you integrate AI to do the dirty work, the grunt work, the scaffolding, the rough draft, and humans come in to do the things that matter, the personal touch, the editing, the reassurances, the humanity. If you can master that kind of balance and create structure and run your businesses in a way that enables you to ultimately be more efficient, that is the way to win in today's world of AI. So if you found this helpful, and you don't already follow me, please do. I really don't talk that much about it, AI topic, but I will much more often. My new course on how to create a hybrid call center versus a regular human only call center is releasing within the next few days. And so, a lot of you are familiar and already students of the current course. This is an update. It's a completely new course, and it's the type of thing that enables you to maximize the amount of money you can make in this industry in 2026 and beyond. So, the link is here in the description. One cool thing I had Claude do, by the way, was in the channel, there's almost 200 videos hidden and invisible. Um, for like many years, there would be broken links on old videos to old sites that I wasn't maintaining anymore. Well, I had Claude write his Python script and be able to connect to this YouTube account to go in and bulk update the links from all these old videos in the description to the correct one. And it did in like 3 minutes. If I were to do it myself, it would be a few days. So that's the type of thing where, it's just a fantastic resource. Now, all of my old videos, some of you will land on them, will take you to a website that is working. It's hybridcallcenter.com. I'm writing a description myself for this video. And I hope that you can again, like and subscribe. The last thing I'll say is that because the course is coming out in the next few days, I've been working on it very slowly over the last year. And we are offering a pre-sale price before the course launches. So if you go to the site right now, you can see the pre-sale price. And once it's out, it's going to be more than double the pre-sale price. So keep that in mind. But other than that, I hope you have a good weekend coming up, and I appreciate you all.